Well, let's get to it. So Mikey McNuggets is obsessed with mock drafts, as we know.
Yes.
He's obsessed.
Not necessarily mock drafts.
Oh, my God. He's obsessed with the drama.
With
draft
the draft
content.
And I'm to the point, and I'm sure you
I'm
are.
over it.
Where I'm like, please, I love the draft, but
We need
the
to get there.
preamble,
Yeah.
I can't,
We
I'm
need to
done
get
with it.
there.
I was
Yes.
burned by it last year.
Yeah.
I don't know who you're
I
picking.
just want,
pick
just
somebody.
get me to the draft.
Just pick somebody, bro.
By the way, something I said yesterday is would G. Bush is going to lose his mind, but I said yesterday that I don't have a problem if they take a defensive player.
I did see that.
Yeah.
That I said, oh gosh. Hey, listen, I'm telling you. Listen.
G, we're going to get to that.
Go ahead.
Save your
We'll
draft,
get to it.
'cause
We'll
we're
get
gonna
to
that.
it. So Mike
basically-
has 6 items. He is compiled.
compassed.
What's that?
I compassed all the internet to
You
find a
compassed?
consensus.
Canvas.
Yeah. Canvas.
Canvas.
The internet.
Compass.
It sounded weird.
He's put it all together,
Yes, I
and he has
compiled.
6, I don't know, narratives or
All right,
It's
general
It's
thoughts
6 things that
involving
I don't know if they'll come
the Browns.
true or not.
Tell us
but
what you
the
compassed.
consensus of what I've compassed is pointing in the direction of, is this real or fake? So you
Yeah.
got to tell me, are we pointing to the North Star of reality
Are
with
we
this?
buying this or are we not buying
Basically.
With the
But
compass.
I have,
Is the compass
With the
pointing to
compass.
the North
Yes.
Star?
this? Yes.
I have an addiction.
Yeah.
It is NFL draft content. I can't shake it. I've listened
My
to it.
name is Mikey McNuggets.
If it's out there,
and
hand
I'm
up.
an NFL draft addict.
I
Go ahead.
need NFL AA.
Well, you've come to the right city.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
You've landed in
Sign
the
me
right
up.
city if you love the draft.
So
Yes.
my number one takeaway, based off where all the wind is blowing,
Yeah.
that as of today, right now, on Friday, April 10th, 11:08 a.m., the Cleveland Browns will not draft Ty Simpson.
Wow,
This
what a
is-
bold take there, Mike.
So, yeah, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to agree with this or disagree? Or
I hope the others are a little more interesting with it.
They get a little more. They start.
All right.
We're building on here.
I mean, I don't think anybody thinks. Does anybody
this
think the
is-
Browns are going to draft Ty Simpson?
this
I mean,
is,
the only caveat I'll put out there is that you never know.
certainly not
You
the
never
first
know.
round. I don't
I would
believe
be.
it.
We'd
don't-
all be stunned if they drafted
All right,
Ty Simpson.
let's
Yeah.
make it. Let's spice it up a little bit.
Spice it up. I
Right,
like
you know what? So, what if Ty Simpson fell to the 5th round?
Oh, Lord in heaven.
Then the
Would
Well, hold on. G, that leads to number 2.
would they? Would
Gee, that
they
leads
look?
to number 2.
Would they?
G, keep
They
that
would.
hypothetical alive
All right.
because
maybe.
I don't think they'll draft Ty Simpson. However, I do think the Browns are going to draft a developmental quarterback on day 3 of the draft.
I agree.
I'm not buying it.
Developmental quarterbacks?
So you think they're out on a
Is
quarterback?
there really any such thing anymore as a developmental quarterback?
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel.
Who's the quarterback drafted on day 3 that was developed for years and then became a starter?
Brock Purdy.
There it is.
No, he wasn't developed for years. He became the starter the first year.
Jeff Hostetler.
He wasn't developed.
Okay, yeah.
Steve Berline.
Steve DeBerg.
I think was Steve Berline that. I mean, that's 100 years. ago.
I know.
There's really no such thing.
Bubby
anymore.
Brister.
It's Bubby Brister. He stunk. He had like 1 year.
They groomed him though. They
Don't be saying that word.
You're right.
It don't mean what it
Yeah,
means.
yeah, you know what? Yeah.
But like
flags.
this idea of a develop. By the way, if the Browns waste another 3rd round pick on a quarterback, I don't know what to say. That Dylan Gabriel pick was so stupid. Now, if they pick a guy in day 3, fine, I don't care. But like the idea that there's some developmental quarterback is nonsense.
I think it was 7th. Yeah, 7th round maybe if they get something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care at that point. Whatever you want. I don't even think you should take a 4th round pick, 5th or later.
Oh, no,
you
no.
want to take a quarterback? Fine.
Oh yeah, no 4th. Those guys actually should be playing
Starters,
somewhere.
4th rounders
Some-
on good teams
Yeah,
become starters eventually.
You got to find
or at
those.
least key reserves.
Yeah, like
You know, but I think we're all. Are we buying or selling the day 3
I think
development?
I'm going to take quarterback at some point. Yeah.
I do think they'll take a day 3 quarterback, developmental guy.
I think they're not going to.
You think? So you said before. You said they'd be insane to go back. So you saying they're gonna have the same quarterback room?
No. I think.
Where
I
this
think they're
coming
gonna
from?
after the draft they're gonna take a veteran off the scrap heap
Okay.
and get rid of Dylan Gabriel.
What's left?
I don't know. Nothing.
I mean,
You're
this
going to look
be
up the free agent quarterbacks.
Yeah, look at the free agent quarterbacks, Mikey. Who do we got? Jimmy Garoppolo could be.
wow, I ain't heard that man's name.
They didn't like him when he was good.
No, that's true.
Dang, bro.
Was he ever good?
Yeah.
When he was okay.
I mean, this man went to a Super Bowl. Think about that.
Yeah, he gravy trained that.
But I'm just
Yeah.
so I always think about this. If there's ever a Browns quarterback that went to the Super Bowl, if he just got to the Super Bowl, it wouldn't matter how bad he was.
Yeah.
They are never getting
That's
rid of
true.
him.
That's
Ever.
true.
So here's the list of available free agent quarterbacks
Yeah.
according to SPOTrack. There's 13 names. I'm going to read you all 13.
Okay.
I can't wait to hear this list.
This is funny, I promise.
Oh man.
Aaron Rodgers,
No.
Russell Wilson,
No.
Tyrod Taylor,
Maybe.
Tyrod Taylor
I
coming
mean,
back.
Tyrod should be a backup somewhere. There's not 64 quarterbacks better
I'm
than him.
honestly asking, can he play anymore? I haven't even
I have
seen
no
that.
idea. Didn't he start some games last year for the
the
Jets?
Jets, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he did.
Well,
he
then-
already played for us once. All right,
Yeah.
so let's go ahead.
He's maybe.
Cooper Rush,
Cooper Flag.
Maybe.
I'll take.
Maybe.
Give me Cooper
Jimmy
Flag.
G,
Jimmy G, maybe.
Brandon Allen,
That's the kid from Texas A&M,
I don't
right?
even remember. I don't know. Did he play for the Bengals for 2 seconds? Broncos, maybe?
his
Confusing
most
him
recent
with
team was
somebody
the
else.
Titans.
And then he beat the. Didn't he beat the? Did he beat
Every
the
random
Browns?
backup
I mean, a lot
quarterback
of
beat the
quarterbacks
Browns.
Like
beat
a
the
random, like he played on like
Yeah.
2 days
Bailey
notice and
Zappi
beat
beat
us.
the Browns.
That's
Next.
what it
Teddy Bridgewater,
I thought he signed with somebody.
according to SPOTrack, he's still a free agent.
Could have sworn
was.
I heard
he was.
signed with
I
probably
thought
just
he
a
was.
one-year deal.
I thought he was.
a high school coach.
I thought he was an offensive coordinator at Mercyhurst.
Mercyhurst. Where'd you come up with Mercyhurst?
It's a random basketball school.
My oldest went there for a semester.
That's
That
kind
was-
of wild. That's
They were Division III for football, but I think they're like Division I for hockey or something.
They're awesome at hockey.
Yeah, right,
Awesome.
right, yeah.
What a random-
Go ahead, Mike.
Over the Cap says he signed with
Yeah.
the Lions. So
Yeah, right.
He's
He
off
did.
The,
I
so
remember that.
SPOTrack's wrong. He signed with the Lions.
Yeah.
John Wolford,
No. I don't know
Easton
who
Stick.
that guy is.
You caught it and put it back
Caught
in,
it
Bo.
right in time.
Caught it and
Yep,
put it back
yep.
in.
Brett Ripien,
No.
Skylar Thompson,
These guys don't even count anymore.
Will Greer, and an old favorite who started a game for the Browns,
Oh,
Jeff Driscoll.
no.
One name that, not interesting for the
Yeah.
Browns, but one name that, is Russ Wilson retired now? Has
yeah.
the league retired him?
I mean, I don't think anybody's giving him a job.
I think the league done retired him. They did him like Hunger Games, District 13. They put your name in the put your name in the sky. When you lose on Hunger Games, Russell's up there with Sierra right now.
I
It's a
think
wrap.
one of those schlubs is going to end up on the Browns, and Dylan Gabriel's going to be gone. And not to be in a competition, just to be a veteran third quarterback. Whatever.
There might be a dude on the roster that does not have a picture of Madden. Like it's blanked out, outline casket type joint.
Right,
It's
right,
just
right,
like,
right.
yeah.
Kind of like when I use Tyvis or Dustin in Immaculate Grid.
that's
They get no picture.
that's crazy.
I feel it's very sad to me.
work.
I'm still waiting for that dream day where I can use them both on the same grid. I've never been able to do that.
I haven't played Immaculate Grid in at least 17 months.
Yeah, the football is much harder than baseball because the players you know well don't change teams as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whereas baseball players, even good players change teams all the time. And certainly the second tier players change teams a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that change like the skill position players don't bounce around as
Linemen,
much.
like journeyman linemen.
Right, but you
special
don't know
teams
those
guys.
names as well, That's why, like, when they have, like, the Browns and the Giants, and I put in Peyton Hillis, it's like 70%,
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
All right, next one.
Yeah, number 3.
This is based off all these different podcasts, reports. To me,
Mike's already qualifying his third
no.
thing.
Whether this happens or not
Yeah.
remains to be seen. However, I do genuinely believe that the Browns are desperately trying to trade down from number 6 and acquire more 2027 assets.
Again,
This is master
I
of
mean,
the obvious.
this is master of the obvious.
I didn't
of
say these
course.
were all hot takes. I'm telling you, this
Yeah.
is the
All right,
consensus
fair
of what
enough.
everyone's saying.
Oh, okay.
The Browns are, I'm sure, trying to trade down. They may not be able to trade down, and they're not going to get 2027
I would be
assets.
surprised if they get a 27 first. I would be really surprised.
Yeah.
Look,
If you do that, you're probably trading out of the first row or to the bottom of the first round.
this is not a stellar, like, overall to me, this not just an over-the-top crazy draft class. It's like they don't have enough depth quarterbacks that people would reach for. They don't have the number of deep receiver drafts where
Yeah.
people would say, oh, I need to go get him. And they don't even have the offensive line that's...
But even in this draft, G. Bush, you're picking 6. Like last year when they traded down, okay, at the time we didn't like it. Turned out to be a great trade.
Speak for yourself.
He and I,
All right.
you liked it. And it has turned out to be a great trade,
Yeah.
especially now that Travis Hunter's only going to play cornerback,
wow, yeah.
which is crazy. But they didn't trade out of the top 10. They still were able to get what they thought was an elite level player.
Yeah.
At 6, you still should be able to get a blue chip player.
Oh, no.
And they need to do that. They need blue chip players.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Like, I don't think this is crazy. I don't think that Andrew Berry is in a position where you can just, I guess what you would say, punt.
Yeah, you can't keep kicking the can down the road
because
on everything.
The time is ticking. Like, if say for instance, and we'll talk about this with defensive player.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what your weaknesses are, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't find a solution to those weaknesses, this is going to be the easiest thing in the world to come tell you, hey, how long have you known you needed receivers and linemen and you didn't get any of them?
That's true.
They're not going to listen. They lining up to write that today. They will write that. Like, listen, it's already, all we got to do is hit send on it. You better do something to figure it out because the Anthony Schwartz and the David Bells, it's not just this year. Cedric Tillman's, it's all a part of it. So,
Mike, by the way, speaking of which, what veteran wide receivers are still available?
I can pull that up for you in 1 second.
Yeah, I'm curious.
yeah, because
Let's say they don't
because like.
I think they need at least 2 wide receivers.
Oh,
that
I
can
have
play.
that. I have that list. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What's that, Mike?
I have your list. You ready?
All right, go ahead.
Tyreek Hill,
He can't even walk
he's
right
hurt.
now.
No, he's not.
Stephon Diggs,
We can't do 2 of them. We can't do Diggs and Judy.
No, that's
Debo Samuel,
Debo. I mean, Debo can't. I don't even know if he can play
I don't even
anymore.
know he can run no more.
Yeah.
He's a fullback. He got fullback tendencies, bro.
Curtis
yeah.
Samuel, Juwan Jennings.
Maybe
the whole thing with
He's not coming here after what happened
That's not
last
happening.
year.
I just can't you get over that? I mean, it was
kind of, but not really.
he's the guy, the best guy available, really.
I'll read you the next couple. Just
Yeah.
fire off: DeAndre Hopkins, Noah Brown, Keenan Allen, Jahan Dotson, Kadero Hodge, Josh Reynolds, Tim Patrick, Zay Jones.
I'll
and
tell you.
Robert Renfro.
I'll tell you. I got one guy on that list I
Daryl
like.
Hodge is still playing?
Yeah.
Keenan Allen.
I got Keenan Allen.
I like Keenan Allen.
There's more appealing names at receiver than quarterback, at least.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen is
Not as like you got to get a number 1 wide receiver.
mean-
but to have Keenan Allen around as your 3rd or 4th receiver to teach a level of like that guy's a pro's pro.
How many games has he
I don't
played
know. I mean-
over the last couple? He just seems to be injured to me.
I don't think he's
all
missed
the
that
time.
much time. Go ahead, Mike.
What is minutes looking like?
Keenan Allen, as this loads on Pro Football Reference,
Yeah.
the last couple of years has played with the Chargers. He went to the Bears. Last year, he played in all 17 games.
Really?
See?
Okay.
With
What
the
do you mean,
Chargers,
what were his numbers?
122 targets, 81 receptions for 777 yards.
I
and 4
mean,
touchdowns.
he's still a player.
That's not.
And how old is he?
He is about to turn 34.
I mean, at 33, to still have 700, 800 yards.
I mean, the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And then we'll take a break. We'll do another 3
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
backside.
Yeah, yeah.
In 2023, he was a Pro Bowler. Played in 13 games. In 13 games, had 150 targets, 108 receptions, 1,250 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Got traded to Chicago in 2024. Played 15 games, 121 targets, 70 receptions, 750 yards, 7 touchdowns. That was Caleb Williams' rookie year. And then went back to the Chargers, played all 17 games, 122 targets, 81 receptions, close to 800 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
And that's for a team that wasn't throwing the ball a lot.
And-
like they were a run-first team. I'll tell you what.
I take him over Cedric Tillman.
If at the end of we get to training camp and the Browns wide receiving room is Carnell Tate, Jerry Jeudy, Keenan Allen, and then Bond is their 4th receiver, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
No,
That's not bad.
That's serviceable.
Yeah.
If you
I mean, now listen, you want to say Allen at his age could completely go over the cliff?
Sure.
Maybe. But he played 17 games last year and was a serviceable receiver on a run-first team. You can't tell me he can't still be at least certainly better than Cedric Tillman.
Keenan Allen right now is probably the best receiver on the Browns. If you put him on the Browns.
Right,
listen,
and he's a total pro. And he will be, I would think. Now, does he want to come here? If he has no options,
but
he might.
it's April 10th and he's still not signed.
And if the Browns are willing to pay him a little more, and the Browns have been known to do that, you know he's going to teach a level of professionalism and like.
And if you get him,
You know-
get him and Carnell Tate,
Yeah.
you ain't gonna have no problems with them two. Like
you have to address the number one wide receiver with the draft, whether that's at 4 or 20 or 6 or 24 or trade down to 12. You got to address that probably in the first round. But the other receiver spot, I have no problem going with a veteran, and I think Keenan Allen would be a good choice. Number 4, Mike. Here we
Yeah,
go.
these aren't even necessarily hot takes, more just
No, we
the
were busting your
consensus.
chops
And
for them
please
being
continue.
obvious.
Yeah,
You
continue.
did not say they were going to be hot takes, but we look for, especially I look for every opportunity to bust your chops.
And I appreciate that.
as you do with me,
Yes.
and as you should. So
right.
as I should. So let's go.
These next two kind of go hand in hand, so we'll do them one at a time, but they kind of run
All right.
together. But there's been discussion. We have had the discussion who's the number one receiver prospect in the draft.
Yeah.
Who knows who will be the best receiver on the NFL, but in terms of how they're presented as prospects, there is no debate anymore. Carnell Tate is the consensus number one receiver in the draft, and it's not that close. There have been rumors. There have been speculation. Jordan Tyson could fall outside the top 20 now.
Aren't
Mekhi
there some
Lemon
guys that think
going
Mekhi
down.
Lemon's better, or no?
Matt Miller's the only one who has them in the same tier.
Yeah.
Nobody has gone out on a limb and said Tate isn't number one. I think we could squash the book on, is he the best receiver prospect? It's Carnell Tate.
You got to believe that the recent Ohio State pedigree plays at least somewhat of a role into that.
Yeah.
And it feels like, and I've said this for a while, that Carnell Tate, now this is not the first thing you're necessarily looking for with the sixth pick in the draft, but it feels like his floor is the highest maybe of almost any player in this draft, and certainly the highest of any wide receiver in this draft. That maybe he doesn't have that elite, upside, but he has good upside, and it feels like there's no chance he's going to be a bust.
You think
Is that fair to say?
I would look at him and say, if you just look at just on par for Ohio State receivers, and I know everybody's individual. I don't like grouping people together. Everybody's an individual. But you take a look at even the lower versions of Ohio State, receivers. Look at Terry McLaurin. You look at Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Now, Michael Thomas is a second-round pick.
Yeah.
And for a couple of years, he was a top 3 receiver. Terry McLaurin has been super underrated. He's more injured now.
Top 10.
But he's
15.
a top 10 receiver. And if you can get Carnell Tate, who does a bunch of stuff already at a high level, if you can get him into the system, into the league, and he develops and continues to work hard, he may be a sneaky guy who you think like, hey, man, I didn't think he was going to be that good. But he has characteristics where you could play him today. Like Mekhi Lemon is a smaller version. I think you got I'm not going to say he's a gadget guy, but you're going to have to really scheme to figure out the way to get him the ball as a slot guy. And Jordan Tyson, I just think the injury stuff, like, I haven't seen Jordan Tyson play no games. Like, he hasn't run. He hasn't done anything. So I think that you can
you're
start
not taking a guy with that many question marks at 6.
Absolutely not. So I agree. Carnell Tate is the number, and it's not a bad thing if you just take him at 6.
I think if the Browns, I'm going to leave open the possibility that they will draft a defensive player. But if you're convinced they're going to draft an offensive player, I'll be very surprised if it's not him.
Well, that goes right into the next one, and Jason, I'll let you take us to the next
go
one
ahead.
because it literally plays right into it. But from all the listening, reading, the consensus, at least my consensus of what I feel from all this, is that if Tate is gone at number 6 and the Browns can't find a partner to trade back, taking the best player available, including a defensive player, is 100% a possibility. Jason?
I agree with that. That's where I'm at in terms of I'd be okay with the defense.
Well, and that's what I thought you put it well yesterday. If you're choosing between T. Higgins or Kyle Hamilton, who you taking? I said I would take T. Higgins.
Right.
Now, if it's T. Higgins or Ed Reed, I'm taking Ed Reed.
Right.
Yeah. So you see what I'm saying?
That's the difference.
But I obviously you would prefer them to take an offensive player, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think you get into trouble when you try and crowbar a need, fill a need, and you're bypassing over better players.
Right.
So you have no – I mean, this team is not – I don't believe this team is positioned to win this year. I don't believe – 27 – maybe you start to, 27 could be like 18, where you start to get into the conversation of you can realistically look at wild card pictures and stuff like that. That's just my timeline for this team. So if you are basing that, who knows what this defense is going to look like 2 years from now?
That's right.
So take If the defensive player is head and shoulders above everybody else available, I think Carnell's going to be there at 6. I'd be surprised if he's not. Who's going to take him in the top 5?
If he's not there, by the way, if he's
Because
not
it's
there,
a jigsaw
6,
puzzle.
Yeah,
If he does go in the top 5, somebody else is going to fall to you.
that you probably.
But that it's probably another defensive player.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
If they want to, here's the thing: if they told me that Carnell Tate was gone, I'm not willing to take any other receivers at 6.
Right.
So
I don't trust any of the offensive linemen for me based on.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert, but I've heard people that are talk about them, and I don't feel like any of them
There's
are.
not a.
I'm not enamored. I'm not sure.
So in that scenario, if the Browns can't trade down and Tate is gone, are you now okay with taking a defensive player?
they would have to, because there's no.
It's not the perfect situation, but it might be the.
I'm not going to take Jordan. I'm not going to pass on a dude who I think could be a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah.
Just to take Jordan Tyson,
Right.
who ain't
Or
playing.
Makai
Or
Lemon.
Makai Lemon.
So let's play this out.
Yeah.
So in this experiment, Jeremiah Love's gone too, right?
Right.
Well, because
I would take Jeremiah Love.
So you got Mendoza,
But
Love, and Tate.
Let's say Mendoza, Love, and Tate are all gone, and then who are the 2 defensive players that we think are definitely going to be
Reese
gone?
and Bailey.
Reese and Bailey.
Arvell, Reese, and Bailey.
Okay, so now your choices are Caleb Downs,
Sonny Styles.
Sonny Styles,
All of the
all the offensive linemen,
Makai Lemon.
Makai Lemon.
So
Who else? Is anybody else being talked about in that neck of the woods? If that's the scenario, what are you doing?
This is why.
I'm probably taking Sonny Styles.
This is why this show, like, because you don't plan for it, right? You think about
Yeah.
it, but then you come up with these ideas and you think
Yeah.
about it abstractly. So if you look at it from that point, you got Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
If you say, all right, you give me one of them players, right?
Yeah.
And I say, just say it's Caleb Downs, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, your secondary is Delpit, who made the Pro Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Caleb Downs,
Right. Who we think is going to be a stud.
Tyson Campbell, who
Right. Yeah.
and Denzel Ward.
No Ward.
And
Yeah.
you still have Myles Garrett. You still have Carson Schlesinger. You
Young
still have
Mason
Malik
Graham.
Collins and Mason Graham.
What's his name? Who they just re-signed, the defensive end. His name is escaping me. Who I've always liked. but
Alex
gets
Wright.
hurt. Alex Wright. Yeah.
I mean, dog. Like, I mean, you don't. Do you really have any weaknesses in your secondary?
Right. There will be people who will scream and yell because it's not an offensive player, and I get it. But
if they off the board,
if it's,
You can only shop in the aisle
Yeah.
where the groceries are.
me personally, the only offensive players I'm taking at 6 are Tate and Love. That's it for me.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 that I would target.
And Tate would be the first choice, but
I think Tate will be there. I'll be surprised
Probably,
if he's
but-
not.
I will too. I think he'll be there. But if you put me in that, but then again, you talk about this is scary hours. If you got Carson Schlesinger and Sonny Styles, and those are your 2
That's why I would take Styles.
main
I would take Styles.
linebackers,
I would take Styles.
You can play those guys every single down, and the range and the athleticism that you would be able to, the amount of pure turf that you would be able to cover with those 2 freaks of nature would be insane.
if Sonny
I'm with you,
Styles
Jay.
ends up being as good as everybody thinks he is, like the Browns defense could if you take it up another notch, you become the number 1 defense in the league.
One thing on Styles, too.
Yeah.
And because you just signed Quincy Williams, so you have another linebacker you like.
Right, that's
Bring
true,
Sonny
too,
Styles. Sonny Styles on the RAS testing scores.
Good gracious.
Right? It's not
Yeah.
the end-all, be-all, but I just want to – this is a crazy stat.
Yeah.
He tested out as a 10 out of 10 as a linebacker,
Yeah.
a 9.8 out of 10 as a defensive end, and a 10 out of 10 as a safety. Meaning you had the positional versatility to
Right.
stay even in a even if you wanted to stay in like a traditional 4-3 base defense. Sonny Styles is, once again, on paper.
You just put him wherever.
On paper, he's a star. He's the hybrid. He can do a little bit of everything, including rushing the passer,
Yeah.
including playing more in coverage, which he did a really good job of at Ohio State. He's like the ultimate queen on a chessboard for a
I
defensive
think,
coordinator.
isn't there a little bit of a red flag in terms of a potential injury for Caleb Downs?
Now, he cleared that up. There was
Okay.
a question about a meniscus. He said no big deal.
Well,
so,
he said no big deal. Doesn't mean it's no big deal.
so we'll
Just
see.
positional value, I would take Sonny Styles. over Caleb
If
Downs.
Sonny,
Yeah.
Sonny Styles with Schlesinger is you couldn't run away from, like, there's no really way to like get around it. These dudes ain't small, they're big, they can cover in space. He's a former safety. You should just watch Schlesinger, how he gets back to these deep drops when he's in pass coverage.
Yeah.
And then the fact that you got Myles Garrett and you ain't got no time to be figuring out what you, bro, that is
nuts.
Are you talking yourself into Sonny Styles or
if
Caleb
Tate's not
Downs
there,
over Carnell Tate?
In my heart of
not
hearts,
over Carnell Tate.
He's talking himself
he
into
wouldn't
it.
do that.
in my heart of hearts, I'm a defensive player.
He's been screaming you
and
can't
I've
take
been
a
pounding
defensive
the
player for
table
months.
that you can't take
Listen
a
to this
defensive
man.
player.
Yeah, you get
But-
very excited about Sonny Styles.
But the fact of the matter listen, I had a hard time figuring out, like, if I was a coordinator, where would you attack the Cleveland Browns? Where would you say who's the weak link?
The bottom line is, on draft day, if the Browns draft Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs, it'd be hard
How
to
can
rip
you
them
be
for that.
upset?
Yeah,
It
it would be hard to rip
I
them
got
for
one
either
more
of
for
them.
you guys.
Now, if they pick some other random defensive dude when Carnell Tate is available, then we can get angry.
Then
we'd be salty.
It might be turn out to be a good pick, but we'll get angry on draft day.
Little tease, we had Matt Miller from ESPN on earlier in the show. I asked him what's the worst case scenario for the Browns if the draft, for how the draft would play out before they get to 6. He answered that question. The player he thinks they would take if it happened, I'm not sure everyone would be a huge fan of. But last one.
Why didn't you say that? Who
What did he
is it?
say? I
You
forgot.
were on the interview.
So why can't you mention it again now?
It's a tease. Go check out this on the YouTube clip.
Well,
Go
we
check
want
it
to
out.
discuss it for a second.
You literally sat there and listened to
I
him say
forgot. We taped the interview 2 days ago.
Yeah.
He said David Bailey.
Oh, David Bailey. He's the short arm guy, right?
No,
it's Ruben Bain.
Ruben Bain is the short arm.
I mean, how is that bad? I mean, Bailey is a defensive end. I mean, he's a monster. I guess because he's like, all right, well, I would take him the third out of the rest of the defenders.
I mean, if Tate and Love are gone, I don't know how anybody could scream about taking a defensive player. Because what, you're going to get upset because they didn't take a questionable offensive lineman?
and they still got another. They still got another pick.
Right.
Like, okay, now I can talk myself into a Denzel Boston, or I could talk myself into another receiver.
The Indiana receiver. I always forget his
You
name.
might be able
Omar
to get
Cooper.
Omar Cooper or
Which-
Surratt will be available. In
Which,
this.
by the way, brings us to the last one. You guys have done a great job leading into these.
Yeah.
The consensus feels that the quality of receivers on the board at 24 will be much higher than the quality of offensive tackles left on the board at 24 if the Browns are looking to get a wide receiver and an offensive lineman in the first round.
Yes.
Not saying you can't get a good one.
Yeah.
Just the quality of the prospect.
I got to tell
might not be
you,
the same.
I don't think the Browns have to draft an offensive lineman in the first round. Okay? I think on paper they've improved the offensive line. Is it great? Probably not. Would you like to get a left tackle? Yes. But reaching on a player who's questionable at that position just because there's not good. If you have, you know what? You could always sign Taylor Decker, or as Zach Jackson pointed out, he said, what's his name? The guy who used to be on the Bengals. Like, he was kind of a bust, but I can't think of his name. An offensive lineman. If you need another stopgap for a year, you can do it. The Browns don't have to solve their left tackle position necessarily in this draft. If there's not a guy you're sure about.
Give me another dude. Hey, listen. Hey, I wouldn't even be salty if they said, all right, well, let me go get a guard. Let me go get a, like, if they think about it. If they decide, you know what? I don't even know if Luke Whippler going to be that nice. Let me get a center. I'm going to draft me another center, and then we'll switch some things around and move them guys to tackle.
Yeah.
I do agree that the wide receiver pool is much deeper than the tackle. And I think if you did take a tackle in the second or third round, you probably could get a tackle in the second or third that would actually have the same level of production and turn out better than the guy that they took early in the first round. At least potentially.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it happens with offensive line. In this class, in general, it's not like Freeling. Monroe Freeling is, or Caden Proctor, or Mao. You know what? I don't know if those guys in 3 years are going to be household names.
It may not be fair, but with everything they've gone through with DeJuan Jones, I want nothing to do with Caden Proctor because he's got weight issues also. And as someone with weight issues, I know how hard that is to deal with.
And he comes from Alabama. I mean, Alabama linemen have not panned out. Now, granted, they got two different people and groups that I ain't going to lump them all into one group. But, I mean, when you talk about I got a guy that I need to watch weight, and they got DeJuan Jones who you need to watch weight, and who knows? I don't know if I trust him. But, Jason, are they do you think that they might be secretly being like, We still got DeJuan Jones, though.
I don't think they're counting on DeJuan Jones.
I mean, I wouldn't.
I don't think they are. I don't, because he cannot play left tackle.
Yeah.
And they've already established who's the right tackle. So where does that leave him?
So
it leaves him as a backup.
There's Titus.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they moved Titus Howard to the left side?
No.
So they need a left tackle from somewhere.
Right.
And if they've eliminated Titus Howard, if they've eliminated DeJuan Jones because he's a right tackle.
Yeah.
They've said they don't see DeJuan as
No.
a guard. So
Right. Yeah.
they're gonna have to figure out left tackle somewhere somehow, and maybe it's another trade
Right.
or free agency.
All right, Mike.
DeJuan
Did that
had-
satisfy your draft talk needs?